my God. It's so good. It's priceless. It's priceless. It's flawless. So a while back, Jon Stewart, on a show he likes to call The Problem with Jon Stewart, which is funny to me because it's not about his problems, went and interviewed a politician, and I forget who it was and who they're a politician for, but they're basically trying to implement transphobic policies. And it was awesome. He reamed her, teared her a new... You know how women only have two holes? He gave her a third one. Anyway, he did it again recently. Nathan Dahm is the next victim on his docket. Interview with Oklahoma State Senator Nathan Dahm on The Problem with Jon Stewart, in which he once again demonstrates his amazing ability to break down these transphobic monsters, these legislators who are just trying to make trans people's lives as terrible as possible, with a brush of a finger. Just barely pokes this shit and down it tumbles. But he doesn't stop there. He continues to completely verbally beat the shit out of them. Let's watch.
I'm a strong proponent of the Second Amendment. I believe.
By the way, I've not seen this yet. I'm just going off of what other people have told me.
Right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the one right that's listed in the Constitution that uses that very specific affirmative language. You know, shall not be.
Well, it's also the one right that uses the phrase "well regulated."
Correct, when it's talking about the militia and the state.
By the way, just for clarity's sake,
yeah,
I'm not against the Second Amendment. I'm not against. I don't want to ban guns. But you're saying
okay. So it looks like this is going to be about a multitude of issues, but they do get the trans issues.
More guns makes us more safe.
Yes.
So when we got 400 million guns in the country, we had an increase and gun deaths went up. So when exactly does this curve hit that takes it down? Would 1 billion guns do it?
Let's just run those numbers. You know, 400 million, 50,000. You're talking about a less than a fraction of not even 1% of 100th of a percent.
That's a great question.
But it goes up, not down. So your argument is backwards.
But if you
want,
a
great point.
So let's come up with a solution. Okay, so one of the issues, a contributing factor, again, I believe it's the individual that is the problem.
So your solution to that is give them more guns.
Yep.
So
he's like, yep.
That because
you know what? Honestly, Giga Chad moment. He's like, yes, it is.
People are the problem. We need to look at the problems that those people are facing and how do we address it. For instance,
you've removed the ability for the state to do that.
No, because you're.
If you don't have background checks, and you don't have registration.
By the way, is it a good volume? I feel like it's too quiet. I'll turn it up a little bit.
And permitting. How do you know who has a problem in terms of the people who you're giving a gun to?
Do you want to talk about the background checks first, or do you want to talk about solutions first?
I want to talk about what you're doing is you're bringing chaos to order.
That's your subjective opinion, that it's bringing chaos to order.
It's not my subjective opinion. We have 50,000 gun-related deaths. That's not a subjective opinion.
Okay, so
that's dead people. Let me back up for a second. In every other place in your life, you want to bring order, but guns are the outlier for you. So let's start with immigration. You want registration, maybe a wall, maybe not a wall. Why do you want that?
Well, one of the reasons is because the fentanyl crisis.
Right.
I mean, okay, but...
you don't know when it's coming across. So what do you do?
But the fentanyl crisis is twice what the gun death crisis is.
Okay, so until the gun crisis gets to the fentanyl level...
Not until it...
You don't want to bring order.
No, not until it...
I don't know if that's true. I feel like gun deaths aren't they a far bigger problem as far as like actual death goes? Like if you're speaking in strictly terms of number, I guess you can make the argument that like the fentanyl addiction crisis is much higher, but addiction versus death, it's like, listen, I'm just a humble nurse, but we do learn about priorities in nursing. Okay, airway, breathing, circulation. It's great. I feel like I'd rather have addicted people than dead people if I had to pick one. Because you can cure addiction, you can't cure death.
But
do you see my point?
If we're going to talk about protecting lives, that's a larger issue in America than guns is. If we're talking about individual lives of ways that they can be protected, loss of life in America, there's loss of life through fentanyl. There's loss of life through obesity. The obesity crisis in America costs 6 times the number of lives as guns.
Right, and
so,
you're the guy saying, you know what would help this? Ice cream.
True.
So, you know what would help the problem that we're facing with firearms?
What?
The fatherlessness crisis that we have in America.
No, no.
If you look at the
Wait, look at his smirk. Look at his smirk.
What?
The fatherlessness crisis that we have in America.
It was just like the tiniest little twitch of his mouth that said everything. He's like, oh, he's serious, isn't he? Oh, that was so good. That was one more time, please.
Would help the problem that we're facing with firearms.
What?
The fatherlessness crisis that we have in America. If you look at the statistics.
Right. Yeah, they're dying from gun deaths.
80%
It kills me.
of school shooters either came from a broken or fatherless home.
So you would say no guns for fatherless homes?
No, that's not what I would say. I would say that fathers need to be more engaged.
Great. So let's
crime with a firearm if they don't have a father in the home.
Let's put more resources into areas that are poverty-stricken. All for
True.
it.
And into fatherlessness, and that's something that we're doing.
But
in
why,
Oklahoma.
with guns, are you against bringing order?
Oh, he's
I'm not
tearing him
against
apart,
bringing
dude.
order.
You are. You're also making it less safe for cops and for people. When the police go to a domestic call, it's the most dangerous call they can go on. In your world, if they knew that there were firearms in the house, that's a safer call. Is that what you're saying?
No, because police.
Because why?
Because police treat every situation as a potential.
But more guns.
That's true. Wow. What an admission. That is very true. They treat every situation as a potentially lethal situation, which is part of the fucking problem.
Makes us safer. So why don't, when the police go to a house filled with guns, why don't they breathe a sigh of relief knowing that this Second Amendment that shall not be infringed is being exercised so fruitfully in this home?
Are you familiar with the 39-year-old woman in New Jersey?
I'm familiar with a ton of anecdotes.
This is great.
I'm
No, this is
asking
not-
you a
this is-
simple
this
question.
is not an anecdote,
When the
John.
police
Yes, it is.
Actually happened.
go to a house,
Wait, did he just say this is not an anecdote? This actually happened? My guy, please, I beg you to seek out a dictionary. Oh my fucking God. They have the gall to ask us definitions like what is a woman, and this guy's just like, no, it's not an anecdote. This really happened. No, this really happened. It's not an anecdote. Oh, God, come on, dude. It actually happened, though. Okay.
Restraining order on her ex-boyfriend.
I
of an
can run
individual.
through
I know we can both run
hundreds
through
and
that.
hundreds of examples of women killed by their domestic partners by guns that were not taken away through the lessening of red flag laws. You're pivoting.
He's
to
not giving him an
anecdotes.
inch, dude.
No, this is not anecdotes.
What the police
He's not
say.
giving him an inch. He's giving him the full 6 to 8 inches.
If we had gun registration, if we were able to track purchases, they have a technology that every bullet would be stamped with an individual like a fingerprint. If we had an ATF that wasn't defunded, we would be able to enforce gun laws more effectively, and we would be able to solve gun crimes more effectively. You're against all of that.
Because the person is the threat, not the firearm, not the knife.
I get it.
The person and the individual is the one that is the concern
Great,
here.
but you don't want anything that could help law enforcement or society determine whether or not a person is a good guy with a gun or a bad guy with a gun.
Most
The
even law
registry
enforcement.
would allow you to have much more effective background checks. So I don't understand why you won't just admit that you are making it harder for police to manage the streets by allowing
That is
all
true.
of these guns to go out without permits, without checks, and without background stuff. Why is that hard? Why can't you just stand by that?
Because that's not what I'm doing. I'm defending the individual's right to keep and bear arms.
That's
Oh
a
my God, dude. Come on. He said that.
different argument.
Okay, but
you
we
may
keep
do.
trying-
Here's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, the video's almost over. Is he talking about trans stuff at all in this? I thought he did.
You want to say I'm a Second Amendment purist and I'm making it safer. You're not. You're making it more chaotic. And that's not a matter of opinion. That's the truth.
That
Might
is a
have put
matter
up the
of
wrong
opinion,
video.
John.
But why take away their tools?
Because certain of their tools that they're using would be infringements upon the people's right to keep and bear arms, upon their constitutional rights, upon due process, upon other things.
That registering is an infringement?
Yes.
Okay. Is voting a right?
It's a right for citizens, yes.
Do you have to do anything to do it?
Yes.
What do you have to do?
It
No
depends
one
on
shall
the
infringe on my murder dildos.
state.
What do you have to do?
Sometimes you have to be at least 18 years old.
What do you have to do?
And in some places you have to have
my
a
pizza
government-issued
just got
ID.
What do you have to? You have to
You have to be on the voter rolls.
register. You have to register. So you have to register to a right. Is that an infringement?
Does the right to voting say shall not be infringed?
Oh, so this is just a semantic argument now.
No, it's not.
You believe voting rights can be infringed because it doesn't say specifically shall not be infringed.
Is it an infringement upon a 17-year-old's right to vote, since they don't have that right to vote?
No.
Oh, it's not an infringement on them?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Because you're the one making the argument, not me. I'm saying even rights have responsibilities, and that within those responsibilities are responsibilities and order. Otherwise, it's chaotic. I'll go you one further. You want to ban drag show readings to children.
Oh, okay. Here it is. It's just the last minute. Interesting.
Why?
Why?
What are you protecting?
Why can we prohibit children from voting, those under 18 from voting?
Why are you
but
banning?
Also that?
Is that free speech? Are you infringing on that performer's free speech?
They can continue to exercise their free speech, just not in front of a child.
Why?
Why?
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect.
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances to
What's
protect
the
children.
leading cause of death amongst children in this country?
Oh my God. It's so good. It's priceless. It's priceless. It's flawless, dude.
Speech, just not in front of a child.
Why?
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect.
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances
no.
to
What's
protect
the
children.
leading cause of death
it's
amongst
so good.
children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is.
Oh,
it's firearms.
my
More than
God.
cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck.
True.
To stop that, because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its...
He's sitting there like a fucking punished child, dude. Oh my God. He's been destroyed utterly. This man is no longer a man. He's a pile of biological material reduced to nothing, reduced to atoms.
That, because
My
that
God.
shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
Oh my God, dude. I feel like it's TOS watching a man get destroyed that fucking badly. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Jon Stewart is a based motherfucker, dude. I'm so glad that he's on our side. It's unfathomably based. Unfathomably based. I can't even add anything to that. I want to give good commentary, but I can't add anything to that perfection. I guess the one thing I will add to it is it really does all fall apart, right? It all falls apart. Like, there's no consistency. I talk about this sometimes with transphobes. Like, the only consistent thread in transphobic rhetoric is that they hate trans people. You know, they talk about like protecting the women, protecting the kids, you know, the sacred nature of the women's space and like the fairness in women's sports or whatever. No. The only underlying structure is the transphobia, right? And similarly with the gun stuff with conservatives, you know, it's not about protecting the kids. If it were about protecting the kids, they would have no issue with gun restrictions, right? It's not about protecting the kids from the drag shows. It's about protecting their own interests, and their interests are anti-trans, anti-gay, and you know, just pro-suffering is what it is. They just like suffering. It's the only thread that ties it together. They just like suffering, and that's about all I have to add to that. Other than that, I mean, it speaks for itself. You know, it's a house of cards. And all you have to do is nudge it, and it falls apart. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. You can join my channel membership at youtube.com/AlecGunther/TTV/join for only 99 cents a month. That's less than the price of a blowjob from your mom. You can be part of the channel membership program and you will get early access content as well as a sweet badge next to your name and exclusive emojis in the comments that nobody else gets. Thank you again, and I will see you all in the next video.